Let's explore the basic syntax of DataPrime. So there's some really common rules here to follow. Your queries will almost always start with the source keyword. By the way, the source keyword is not mandatory, but I like to use it. So source essentially tells DataPrime where we should be loading data from. In this case, we'll source the logs. So when you run the source logs, this is actually a complete query all on its own. This will just pull all the data available from the last 30 minutes. So you can see here, based on the time frame that we selected. So it will just query everything. Basically, there's no filter. Now, if you want to add any clause here, we use the pipe syntax. And the pipe is going to be really, really common here. We strongly recommend that you break up your queries into lots of small little piped commands. That's going to make it really easy to read and understand. It'll make the query very scalable as well. So adding new things is really easy. So we can see here, we use an example here with filter. If we pick any of these different values here, for example, AWS region, you can actually break down and see different regions in the logs as well. So we'll do EUS1. So you can see here that the pipe syntax is what separates everything. You'll notice this is really, really common. It's really important to understand. Secondly, you'll notice that we commonly have a keyword and then the expression. Now, we use some really common syntax here like double equals, and we'll get into more of the operations now. But this is less to do with key value mapping and to do with running intelligent, insightful queries that are scalable. So we strongly advise you to think of this as a programming language used to discover your data, not necessarily as just a simple query language. The final thing I would recommend with just generally using DataPrime is when you're using it in the Coralogix UI, you can really take advantage of the what the UI brings, because it really brings like an AWS style experience. So for example, if I do this, you get automatic autocompletes. This IDE style of presenting the information means that you don't have to remember everything. You can kind of scroll around, you can have a look, you can search for things. For example, availability zone there, you can see everywhere availability zone appears in the field name. This makes it really easy for you to write these fluid dynamic queries. So these are just some of the basics of DataPrime that I would recommend getting familiar with before continuing with this tutorial so that everything else becomes much, much easier.